Fractions are also a useful way of thinking about concentrations of different molecules and organisms when we're doing molecular biology. So what do I mean by concentration? It could be something like 500 cells per microliter. We'll worry about what this micro means later on. Or perhaps something like 20 micrograms per milliliter. Or perhaps something like 3 millimole per litre, which is also expressed as 3 millimolar. So this big M is moles per litre. Anyway, for now we're just going to worry about how to manipulate those numbers. So these all represent a certain amount of stuff in a given volume. So stuff per volume. So stuff could be a number of cells, it could be an amount of a chemical, and the volume, in biology we normally use litres. You may have used decimeters cubed in the past in your chemistry, and a litre is the same as a decimeter cubed. But again, we're going to get into that later. And let's just take the example of 500 cells per microliter. So that means we've got 500 cells for every 1 microliter. So we could write it as a fraction like that. (500 cells per microliter). So how about if I want to know how many, so my solution is at that concentration, and I want to know how many cells are there in 10 microliters. So to go from 1 to 10, I hope you agree with me that we have to multiply by 10. So what I would do would be, so I've got my 500 cells out of 1 microliter. Then I can multiply by 10 microliters in the denominator, because that's what I want. But then I also obviously have to multiply by 10 microliters in the numerator as well, so that I don't change the value of my fraction. So that gives me 500 times 10, and then we've got cells and microliters. So let's separate out the units and the numbers here, and then we've got 1 times 10 microliters times microliters. So then we can cancel out, here we've got microliter, microliter. So that gives us 5,000 cells in 10 microliters, or 5,000 cells per 10 microliter, I could say. And we can also think about this the other way round. So let's imagine we have, let's say 25 cells in 5 microliters. And we want to know how many in 1 microliter, because most of these concentrations are normally expressed as a number of things in a volume of 1 unit. So 1 microliter, 1 milliliter, etc. So there we've got 25 cells out of 5 microliters. So we can factor those out. So that would be 1 times 5 times 5 cells over 1 times 5 microliters. So we can cancel out 5 and a 5. So that would give us 5 cells out of 1 microliter, or 5 cells per microliter.